Are you a forgetful tenant like me, having trouble remembering payments? Or are you a caretaker, having trouble keeping track of every payments with your good old pen and record book? Or are you a property owner, wanting to monitor everything that comes in and out of your property? Well, worry no more, because me and my team got you covered with our soon to be developed boarding house management system entitled The Hive, starting with our proposed database project. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I am Ron Rinconada, and I am with my teammates, Jervin Sapid and Ian Remedio, and we are the Boolean Autocrats. And we are here to present to you our proposed database project entitled The Hive, boarding house management system to be implemented at stateside boarding house located at Mari City. Now let's address the big question of why. Now, some of you, especially caretakers, may ask, why do I need that fancy system when a good old pen and record book is enough? And I'm like, come on. It's not like we are still in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. Let's embrace the new age of technology. It's 2023. Let us work smarter, not harder. And with that, let's dive deeper on why and what are the benefits of using our boarding house management system to future tenants, caretakers, or property owners with our own Jervin Sapi. Jervin, take it away.
Based on our observation, management of boarding house in Philippines is not digitalized. The method of management that is used in the past has little changes in the present. We know that in the present, people use technology to make life easier and be productive. With that, it leads to improvement of humans' life, making a task less hassle. For example, the use of cell phone. It has many purposes, such as communicating with other person, listening to music, and watching videos. So, what if these devices has an app that will give awareness to renters to when is their payment, make a suggestion to landlord or landladies, report maintenance issues, and many other capabilities. They can also pay online through connecting their online wallets such as GCash and Paymaya to the app. It would be a nice idea since it is beneficial to the owner and to the renter.
And now for the business rules. First, the management system should keep track of the availability of each room in beds, including which are currently occupied, reserved, and which are vacant. Second, the management system should provide a way for tenants to report maintenance issues by a suggestion option. Third, each suggestion must be accompanied with the name of the tenant who submitted it. Fourth, each tenant must provide its contact number, email address, Facebook profile link, and a picture of at least one valid ID or documents. Fifth, each of the tenant's account must have its unique username and password. Sixth, each tenant can occupy one or more beds in a room, and each room can be accompanied by one or more tenants. Seventh, each tenant will be issued a monthly invoice that includes the monthly rent as well as the cost for electricity and water. This invoice must be paid in full by the end of the month. 8. Only a 2-month grace period will be given to a tenant who is unable to make payments on time. If they are still unable to do so, they will be immediately evicted from the boarding house.
Now for the ninth rule, which says an image as a proof of payment must be provided for each payment made by the tenant. Now, this image can be, for example, a screenshot of a Gcash cash transfer or a picture of the tenant handing the cash to the caretaker. Now, this proof will come in handy in relation to our business rule number 10, which says that the management system should keep track of each payment's history and details. The system should also allow tenants to view their invoice history and payment history along with its details. Now, just for example, there is a conflict of a tenant claiming to have already paid for a certain month, but the system says otherwise. Now, to validate such claims, we need to look up the tenant payments history and invoice history along with its information to validate who's right and who's wrong. Okay, now let's jump onto our ERD. An ERD, or entity relationship diagram, is a visual representation of the relationships between different entities or objects within a database. It allows us to understand the structure, relationships, and constraints of the data in a concise and intuitive manner. So it's crucial for us to create the ERD in a precise manner because it leads us to the creation of the data dictionary and eventually to the creation of our SQL database. Now, the software, or in this case, the web-based program that we have used to create our ERD is Draw.io because it is easily accessible and it does not require any installation. And you just go to your favorite browser and type Draw.io, and there you go. You can now start creating your ERD. And now let us jump onto our ERD and take a look at the tenant entity. Now in this case, the tenant has its ID as its primary key that is unique from the other tenants. So we can distinguish them from one another. And for also an easy lookup if we want to. Now, the table tenant has its attributes like its name starting with the first name, middle name, and last name. Then the address, contact number, gender, because you don't want to mix up of gender inside the room because that would inevitably cause a disaster. FB profile link, so he or she can be contacted and added to the group chat if there is any. And finally, the most crucial one is the valid documents that would validate the identity of a certain future tenant.
And now let us jump to our data dictionary. In our page management, we created a data dictionary to document the tenant database. This data dictionary serves as a comprehensive reference guide that helps us understand and manage the data effectively. The data dictionary includes information about each attribute or field within the tenant database. Typically, a data dictionary includes the following information for each element. First, the table name. Next, the attribute name, contents, type, format, range, required, FK or PK, and lastly, the reference. The data element name, this is the name or label given to a particular data item. And the data type specifies the data type of the data that the element represents, such as text, number, date, boolean, etc. And the content or the descriptions, it is a brief explanation of definition of the data elements providing additional context and meaning. And next, the range or the length, it is the maximum length or size of the data element. For example, if it is a text, the length might be specified in terms of characters. And next, the valid values or the required. This will define the range of acceptable values for the data element. It can help enforce data integrity and provide guidance on what values are allowed. And next is the constraints or the Next is the constraints, any rules or restrictions that apply to the data element. For example, it might be specified whether it is a field required or unique, or if there are any formatting rules. And now for table name, for example, we have the tenant, an attribute name, tenant ID, and a contents or description of tenant ID or the ID of the tenant, and the type of varchar and format of X, capital X, and lowercase xxx, and with a range of 15, and it is a not null, and PK. It is PK because it is a unique attribute within the table tenant, and it has no reference because it is not a foreign key. And as we all know that data dictionary is essential for data management, data governance, and ensuring consistency, accuracy in the database design and usage, and help users understand the meaning and purpose of data elements, making it easier to interpret and utilize the information effectively.
I will teach you how to create the database table as well as how you populate it with data. Let's create a database first. The query of creating a database is create database and the database name. After that, use the database. Then let's create database table. There are two options in creating database table. First option is through this. Right-click the table, choose Create Table, type table name, and the column name. Declare tenant ID as primary. Next, choose the constraint. For the sex, I choose enum data type since I will only provide two options. After that, click Apply button. Review SQL script to check if there are errors. Click Apply button, then Finish. Second option is through making a query. That's it. In terms of populating a data, there are still two options. First option is by importing it directly in SQL file. Select all from table room to view the content. Second option is putting directly in the table. After that, click Apply button. A new tab will appear. Review SQL script to see if there are errors, such as spelling. Click Apply, then Finish. Done inputting. I hope you learned from my tutorial. That would be all. Thank you.